It's time for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, the show that helps you be prepared to care for your family regardless of the circumstances that may come your way. Now, here's your host for today, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're in the studio with Glenn Boblitz. We took a week off, needed it, because Glenn is actually helping me do some work at my house, and we dedicated last week to doing that. So we took a little break for the
whole
podcast.
week just kind of shot by.
It really did.
And we go, wow, we missed that whole week, and it happens, folks, when there's this much going on, and you have, you got your life going on,
right?
And the wife going on,
the wife,
life and wife,
right.
That eats up a big chunk, but the world is going on.
Oh yeah,
and on and on and on.
Wow,
and
Glenn,
on.
we did take that week off, and a lot happened last week. Of course, the 24th anniversary of 9/11, the young girl that got killed in the subway. They call it a light train in Charlotte, and then of course the tragic death of Charlie Kirk.
One crap thing after another.
Right.
We could do a whole show, and there's been enough shows about it, and you're just sick in your heart to see what's going on when you just want to scream, stop.
Yeah.
You kids quit making so much noise in the house.
Yeah.
It's just the way it feels, just waiting for my mama to come out with a wooden spoon and says, that's enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
But they don't pay any attention to that, and that's going to push some issues that are just should not be pushed, and that's where we're at today.
Can I say something right here too? Because you and I have talked about why you do this program. It could be all kinds of different situations that could put us into the reason that we want to be sustainable. It could be nature.
Nature itself will kick your butt.
It could be Vladimir Putin, who has invaded Poland or shot rockets into Poland, which is a NATO member.
Yes.
And then all these other things. This assassination of Charlie Kirk and this young girl getting killed who was just going home, who had fled the Ukraine to find a safer place, and here we go.
I mean, if you just sat and listed all the bad crap over the past 5 years, you go, I don't see how we're still together here.
I know.
I don't know what's holding us together.
Right.
Well, guys like Charlie Kirk are what held us together.
Yeah.
God coming in and holding us together and working through Charlie.
Sure.
But there's a million Charlies out there, but they've been too quiet.
And I think that
The
some
pastors have been too quiet.
Yes, absolutely.
What was that song? You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. We've been falling for their lies for so long, and we just want to appease them and work with them. And haven't you figured out yet that you can't work with these people?
Right.
They have a goal, and they don't care what you say, what you do. They're gonna meet that goal, and it's to destroy America.
And the Democrats,
that's the only target they have.
The Democrats literally raised hell, and I mean that in a real sense, over a silent prayer about Charlie's death.
That tells you everything you need to know about the other side.
Right.
I'm sorry, that is just an evil that should not be tolerated.
Right.
And if we could dox them and get them fired from their job, we should.
Yeah.
Well, folks, you can. It's called a vote.
Yeah.
And even in your family, I've tried to keep the peace in my family, because we have some that disagree with, political views. But regardless of that, I'll not be silent anymore.
Right.
It's too critical, and now it's become violent.
Yeah.
How can you defend that?
Right.
So we're not going to go there anymore, and that's what has caused some serious people to go, uh-oh. I mean, the whole world is going, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to happen. Everybody is heated up way past the point of being able to calm down in a day or two.
Sure.
As you shouldn't. This is it.
Yeah.
you've poked a bear way too many times.
Yeah.
And you should not have done that to Charlie. That is so beyond anything that you could possibly justify. But saying that, we're going to do a little dark subject today, and that's martial law.
Okay.
I mean, really, it's already going on. Trump bringing in the National Guard is a form of martial law. That's a lower tier of martial law, but that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
It is not a bad thing, and it is not a permanent thing.
Right.
But it is a necessary thing. It's set up this way when governments fail.
Right.
When local government or state government fails, for the good of the country, you have to bring order to chaos. Look around. These cities are in chaos.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
Okay.
What is the martial law? Martial law is a replacement of the civilian government by military rule. Now, at a lower level of martial law, you may be just assisting local governments, or you may be coming in and just handling the problem. That's what Trump's doing now. The local governments, like in D.C., have not handled the crime problem. And let's face it, people are getting killed, stabbed on subways. It's a problem.
Right.
Some of that is drug related, which is a whole nother subject that he's brought the military in. He's going to stop that. So there is different levels in martial law, and you're seeing it right now. Now, if people get stupid and try to go up against that military rule, they do not have to follow the same rules. They are there to stop the chaos.
Right.
Now, if they got to clunk you in the head to do it, they will do it.
Right.
If you shoot at them, they will definitely shoot back.
Yeah.
So it's not like the police department with their hands are tied by the local government. This is a different ball game here.
Right.
It's just like a mini war going on. They want it to just stop, and that's all the other side would have to do that's causing the problem is just stop what you're doing and be a good citizen. Or just behave a little, and it'll go away. Stop robbing, killing, and pillaging and selling dope on our streets, and there you are. Go somewhere else and do that. Go to Venezuela and do it. Go to Arabia and try to sell that drugs.
Right. Oh gosh.
Okay. Yeah, they don't fool around it. They just execute.
This one young lady.
One and done.
I think she's, I don't know, in her 20s. I mean, she's facing like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They're trying to help her out, but they don't play.
Yeah, FOFA on that one, and FAFO. But yeah, it's necessary. This martial law is absolutely necessary, and is becoming more necessary by the day. Because we've lost some civility somewhere.
Yeah, right.
And I'm thinking it's on the other side of the aisle in our governments. So,
I thought about this over the weekend, and I thought, okay, when was the last time like a right winger killed somebody? And I thought back that a quote unquote right winger killed an abortion doctor. How many years ago was that?
Good gosh.
I mean, and we condemned that then, but it's not the right that's out there killing people. Right,
exactly. And it doesn't matter who's doing that. There's definitely nuts out in the world.
Right.
Right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. But if you incite a certain group, they're going to do it because they already have those tendencies anyway.
Right.
And it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter which side. When it gets to that point, somebody needs to step in. An adult needs to come into the room. Well, guess who showed up? Donald Trump. He said, I am the adult in this room, and you kids will behave.
I'm smiling because is it the French leader that called him daddy?
Yeah.
I mean, he was jokingly, but I think he was being serious too. Like, we've got a leader now.
Look how childish the Congress and the Senate are.
Oh, my.
They are the epitome of adolescence. They act like children. They bicker back and forth, and we got one side saying, "No, how could you even think that way?"
Yeah,
and they stick with it. You know, they won't give up the argument until Dad comes in the room and says, "I have had it."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Trump has heard what the people said, and the people have said, "I have had it." Yeah. And they told Donald Trump by their vote.
Yes.
Well, you need a lot more people like Donald Trump. Now, not exactly like Donald Trump, because we only need one of him.
Right.
But regardless of that, he has your interest at heart.
He does.
All of the citizens in a good manner.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. That's why we're not a democracy. You know, the biggest group doesn't rule. It's the will of the people, and we're a republic.
We're a republic, right?
We are a republic. So, in saying that, we've got our house divided in opinion, and we've let the narrative be taken over by the news.
Yes,
and people have been indoctrinated. That's why they call it programming. You know, there's a program on TV. Well, I don't want to be programmed.
Right.
I want the facts and let me decide.
Right.
Well, that's not the way our media is.
Nope.
And it's both sides.
Yeah.
There's gaslighting on both sides. I hate it. The opinion news, I don't like it.
Right.
All I want is the Walter Cronkite kind of news.
Right. Just give me the facts.
Yeah, just get it out there to me. Give me the facts and let me decide. I know the difference between right and wrong. Yeah. I don't need to have, you know, some bleach blonde telling me what's real. That's my decision.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But we've gone so far that we've let these people be emboldened and just run amok. There's no penalty. That guy that killed that girl on the subway. I mean, I think it was 13 times he was arrested.
Yeah.
And they just revolving door. You can't do that.
Right.
That's chaos.
Yeah.
And that's chaos at a government level that's contributing to that.
Well, no cash bail. I mean, who was the idiot that thought that up?
Oh, gosh, I agree, but regardless of that,
I know.
A lot of that has to be handled, you know, through a legislature.
Right, right.
But first, you got to stop the chaos, and that's what military law, martial law does.
It's a tool that's been used, and you know, other presidents have used it in the last 20 years, but we don't hear about that.
Well, prior to Trump doing this, it's been enacted 68 times, full martial law, not just supporting the police. Full martial law, we've had it 68 times, so it's not like there's nothing new here.
Right.
It's just shocking when it happens.
Sure.
You know, just like your dad would come in the room and just whoop everybody because he don't know who did it.
Right.
That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
And don't be out in the street when if this goes much farther than it is, and chaos does actually break out countrywide, martial law will be declared. And the worst place you want to be is out there with them,
right?
Holding up your sign or throwing a bottle or a rock, a brick, because there's a penalty phase,
right?
And you
habeas corpus is suspended. Am I right on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
The law is the military, and thankfully we have disciplined military soldiers.
True.
They are not rogue soldiers from mercenaries. These are disciplined soldiers. If you've ever spent any time in the military, they get that point straightened out right off the bat. Mm-hmm. They are in charge,
right?
And you will listen and follow the orders. And there's a penalty phase if you don't. Mm-hmm. I've been around military people my whole life. I'm here to tell you they're much more squared away than about anybody I ever met, because they had discipline forced on them. They figured it out and go, I have an easy life as long as I follow the rules, do what's right, mm-hmm. and do my job. Mm-hmm. That's the military.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't fear them unless you're doing something bad.
Right.
You can support them. You can do all those kind of things. But if you think you're going to bump heads with them, they have a lot more people than you.
Right.
And it's an escalating level of discipline. Mm-hmm. You know, if they come out and take over a street corner and says nobody's coming out after 10 o'clock p.m., you know, a curfew, that's what you get. Now, if you break that curfew, you're liable to end up in jail. In fact, I'm positive of it, because that's their job. Mm-hmm. They want the chaos to stop.
Right.
Now, living here in Central Virginia, we're a pretty mellow group. It's not like these blue states or blue cities. Mm-hmm. The good citizens that are living in those cities are scared to death, and they're speaking out when the government shows up with military force and clears the streets and stops the chaos in their street. Now, you have leaders of all ethnicities saying, we are so thankful that you've gotten these people. I can walk down the street.
Yeah.
I can get off the train and not have to worry about the chaos.
Right.
Well, you roll into D.C. right now and get off at any train stops, and the first person you're going to see is probably 5 military guardsmen. Mm-hmm. And you go, okay, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of crap started at this station. Right.
I tell you, and I've only felt this once like that. My brother flew into Charlottesville the Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving, the year of 9/11, 2001. And, you know, I walked in to the airport to help him with his luggage and stuff. And there were 2 guys there sitting with M16s. I mean, not sitting, they were standing.
Right.
Because it was still close enough to the event that they were
the
taking.
threats were still
there. And this
there.
is a smaller airport, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Those threats, because they're coming from outside the country, mm-hmm. and now because of all the people that was left in.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That's a scary thing all on its own, but they have to be vigilant. They have to be present. They have to be where the threats are, mm-hmm. and those are a definite area of travel for those kind of people. It's a mass gathering of people. If you're wanting to hurt a bunch of people, you look for the most you can get, the most bang for your buck, and that's what they look for, is groups of mm-hmm. people where they gather. Now, these are all guerrilla-type warfare insurgencies, and that's what's happening to us. And they're escalating.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be one every 2-3 months you'd have somebody shooting up someplace, a school, for gosh sakes, a church. Now it's just so commonplace. Do we really pay attention to it? Are we really keeping an account? And you wonder why Trump looked around and says, we got to send in the National Guard. The police can't handle it, or don't want to handle it, mm-hmm. or are not allowed to handle it. That's a whole nother subject. Mm-hmm. To me, I go for the head of the snake.
Right.
If you have a mayor that's doing the things that they're doing and not allowing a constitutional officer to do his job and protect the citizens of that county or state, he ought to go to jail. Well, that's another step in martial law.
Oh, really? Okay.
They can actually put these people in jail if they are not willing to do their job and because they're elected officials. Mm-hmm. And they're putting people in danger by making these idiotic decisions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Problem I see is I think some of these decisions these mayors doing are coming from much higher up.
Yeah.
Outside of our own commonwealth or our own country.
Say that Soros has his fingers in a lot of. He's created more NGOs and nonprofits to funnel his money to wreak havoc.
Well,
and they say his son is just as bad or worse, and he's still pretty young. Papa's probably going to pass here, I would say, in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But his son is just as bad.
Well, he trained his son to take his place.
Right.
But, I'm tired of them talking about, we're making a case against this. Arrest them. The martial law thing, bump it up a notch.
I've got 2 or 3 mayors right in my head right now that I wouldn't even
I'm
hesitate.
just saying, it's the people at the top that are causing this chaos. Right. The guy throwing rocks on the street is just a hooplehead that ain't got nothing better to do.
Right.
Chunk his butt in jail too,
sure.
But it's the guy causing it. It's that head of the snake that is driving the rest of the body.
Right.
So go after.
Have you heard that 5 to 6% of the criminals, people that are criminals, cause 90% of the havoc?
Right.
And they got the revolving door in these big cities.
I don't want to end up as a prison state,
right? It's a double-edged sword.
It comes with freedoms,
right?
But if you abuse those freedoms, you're right back to a third world country here.
I'll just case in point, just who we lost in the last couple of weeks. Charlie Kirk and this young lady from Ukraine. They lost their freedom. Yeah. Some would say they were set free because they've.
Well, you got this world and spiritual world.
Right.
Spiritual world, they're set free. They don't have to do this crap no more. But in reality, their life was stolen.
Right, exactly. Yep.
That's not allowed.
Yep.
And there ought to be a huge and immediate penalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can take that for what it's worth. But in times of martial law, and I do believe it's kind of coming kind of quickly, and it'll come in an announcement that fast.
Yeah.
Now everybody says, "Oh, you're not allowed to use the military as part of a police force for civilians." That is so untrue. That is so untrue, and that's a lie just to stir up the crap, just to make justifications for doing their protest because they want to continue their protest. And you can't bring in the military to do that. That's not true. So we'll get into that in a little bit if we ever get off this conversation. So in a nutshell, the Constitution will be temporarily suspended.
Right.
They come in, now this is for full martial law.
Okay.
They'll come in and say, we're going to do a timeout, and we're going to fix this right now until we can get a handle on it where the police department can continue to do their job. But right now, it's so widespread, there's not enough policemen, or the laws are so strict against a policeman doing his job that they can't do their job.
Right.
Well, somebody's got to be the adult in the room, and this being martial law being used to do that is a last resort. But okay, we are at that point.
Right.
Because they just will not stop. No matter how many times you tell them, we're going to arrest you, they do it anyway. Okay, well, you've made that choice. Now I got to bring my belt out and whoop your butt and send you to bed without a dinner.
Can I just
that's where we're at.
Say that for those that might be listening and going, right wing, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, martial law, it's like it says in the Bible, the rain comes down on the just and the unjust. Martial law comes down on the just and the unjust.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be everybody experiencing it.
And there's going to be people that will feel offended, the right or the left, as you just said, because your freedoms are going to be temporarily taken away. Yep. You may not be able to travel on certain roads.
Sure.
You may not be able to get on an airplane. You may not be able to use the trains. You may not even be able to come out of your neighborhood if your neighborhood is in chaos.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't take a whole lot to set it off. We have Liberty University, which is a prime target for every wacko out there, it seems like.
Right.
Well, guess what? You're allowed to open carry on the campus of that university. I wouldn't suggest you go ever start too much crap.
Right.
But at any rate, we're back to the law, constitutional law being suspended temporarily. And so what is the law? It is whoever that commander is. And thankfully, we've got some really good ones. And he says, I don't want anybody carrying a gun around. I don't want anybody coming near these train stations. I don't want to see anybody protesting at any church. Whatever he says is the law. Now, is he just going to do this willy-nilly? No, he's got a set of rules to follow too through the military. Okay. Their job is to stop the chaos, stop damaging property, all that kind of stuff, where they're looting malls. Those people that are looting these malls are going to drive that mall broke.
Right.
In fact, there's like 15 of them that are broke and closed the doors, an entire mall. And these governors or these mayors are letting them do it. Let them loot was what was quoted by one of the mayors. Just let them loot. Well, that's fine unless you own that business in there, and then you want to punch that mayor in the mouth. You just ruined something I worked my whole life for.
Well, it's even happened in our region. Certain stores have closed in some of the downtown areas in our listening area because they were getting robbed too much.
Right.
And then now you've hurt that community. Little old grandma who can't barely get on the bus system, that was her only way to get food, was you caused that little mini mart to shut down.
Yes.
Because you robbed it too many times.
Well, as I said before, people are starting to wake up to how bad it really is with some of these groups.
Right.
I'm not talking about just Antifa. I'm just talking about the thug mentality. White, black, green, purple, I don't care what color you are. If you're acting like a thug and a gang, and you operate as a gang, you ought to be taken out. Now, especially the black community is speaking out.
Yeah.
They don't want that neither.
Right. Exactly.
I don't care
They're afraid
how
to speak
black
out.
Your skin is, how brown your skin is, how yellow your skin is. Well, if you're yellow, you're jaundiced, but that's a different subject. But and they're starting to figure out, well, we're not against each other. The races are not against each other. It's the elements within those races that are being jacked up by the rhetoric. And most of the races are going, don't do that.
Right.
It's the older people telling younger kids, you better not go downtown and get into that, because if you come home, I'm going to whoop you. And they're starting to speak out in those terms. It's not a race war going on, though one side wants that to happen.
Right.
Don't fall into it. That's why they want these pastors to speak out, because they're leaders within their community.
Sure.
Because the government is not speaking to us. The government doesn't talk to its citizens.
They can't even get together for a prayer without arguing.
My gosh, that just shows you how inept they are and out of touch.
Yep.
So it's the leaders within the communities, the only way to save your own community.
Right.
Be a positive role model. And they're trying to do that. But you couldn't speak out before because you'd be ridiculed for it.
Right.
Well, now it's the people that are speaking out,
mm-hmm.
and they're pushing a little harder for their community leaders to speak in their stead, because our politicians are not listening.
No, they're not.
Even right down to our local level,
Right.
Yeah. They have taken a station that was never meant for them.
Yeah.
They are to be amenable to us, and
Yes.
they are not.
Yeah.
Our Virginia Constitution, it clearly says, shall be amenable
mm-hmm.
to its citizens.
Mm-hmm.
They are not amenable whatsoever. So something's broken here.
And I'll never forget when I went to EC Glass for the big meeting about the Second Amendment, making us a Second Amendment friendly city, Lynchburg. Right. And I mean, the place was packed, and all they had to do among themselves was say, look, let's just let them vent for 3 hours.
That's exactly.
And then we're going to vote the way we're voting.
Yes.
Let's just keep it real. We listened to them. They went in knowing what they were going to do.
Right. They
and that was
they
just
lied through a mission.
Right.
They did not speak on anything. They just, as you said, they just said, let them vent. This is not a venting thing here, folks. We're coming to a crescendo of people getting angry because we've had enough.
Right.
And then the other side has gotten to that same crescendo saying, we're going to do what we want. We don't care about the law, the citizen, who it hurts. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, now we understand each other.
Right.
Now we understand. So there has to be end up going to be in a conflict. Well, when it happens, martial law is going to come in like a hammer. Mm-hmm. Far better to work it out now than to have that happen.
Right.
Well, some of these cities just couldn't get to that point. So somebody had to step up and say, okay, we're going to send in National Guard, and we're going to straighten this out right now. Now, if we get it under control and you decide to do the right things, then we'll back off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not backing off, are they?
No.
It's because you got a rhetoric going on. They're not giving it up. Mm-hmm. So there's a next level, and that's what I'm trying to tell you about the martial law here, folks. We are seeing the mildest form of martial law,
mm-hmm.
and it is effective, as you've seen. Now, if they step it up and don't stop acting a fool out there in the street, they will step it up one more level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's like 4 levels to this. You don't want to go to the Armageddon level where they go, okay, it's curfew time, we're shutting it all down. And when I do mean shut it all down, it gets all shut down until they can get it under control.
Right.
Now, we've got some bad actors within our country right now that are starting to show up. I don't know how bad that's going to get. According to how many people has come in, I'm saying it could get really ugly.
Right.
And this is worldwide stuff that's coming into our country and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
They're predatory.
Yeah.
They're waiting for a vulnerability, and they're going to take advantage of it. So
in a real sense, we do control our own destiny.
Yes.
How far this is going to go. And I as a citizen have to just take opportunities to try to be, we need to talk peace. We need to talk reason, and hopefully people will reason. Some won't.
Well,
some are provoked.
I think we're past that, though, Mark. They don't want to work. They don't want the partisanship, bipartisanship, where both sides may disagree wholly.
Right.
But you still have to function.
Right.
We haven't functioned for years.
True.
We've just muddled through it and angered through it and held our tongue, held our nose, whatever you want to put on it. But they've proven they do not want a deal.
Yeah.
They do not want to compromise so everybody can live their life.
Right.
Pursue happiness. They don't want that.
Right.
They want some type of total control over everything. And it's the craziness that's doing it. Now, you can push a lot of people so far, but you better not push the parents so far that they have to do something drastic to protect their family.
Mm-hmm.
We're there.
Yeah.
when they went after the kids and this transgendered stuff, that they can do something to your child transgender wise without your permission. Holy smoke! Good thing I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't have young children. I'm so thankful that my kids are out of school. I couldn't control myself if they were trying to do that, and I found out about it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be a bad day.
Yeah.
No, I would definitely end up in jail. There is no higher calling to take care of your children.
No.
My gosh. And they think that they can do this? I don't get it. I don't understand why it hadn't happened already, why the whole country hasn't popped when they doing drag shows in your school. Oh my gosh. That was a turning point for me. We have lost our civility. That's total insanity to me.
Yeah.
At any rate. But martial law is not necessarily all bad. If have a natural disaster, you want that to happen, because people will do the darndest things when you're vulnerable. So floods and that kind of thing, you will have these underworld elements come out and steal what you haven't lost. You know, some people just lose everything in floods and tornadoes, and your stuff scattered throughout the neighborhood. And these predatory guys come in and steal what you barely have left. Well, you want somebody to come in, because the police can't be at every house, every street corner, but the military can. We've got enough people to do that.
Yeah.
Until the chaos stops. Get water and food flowing again. Get energy. All those things the military does. Military is just not toting guns here, folks.
Right.
There's the Corps of Engineers.
Army Corps of Engineers.
That is fabulous.
Yeah.
Now they can do a lot of stuff and get your infrastructure back up and running. You know, your local utility can't do it all either without some massive equipment coming in. Well,
Right.
the Army's got it. And, you know, let's not forget, those are our people.
Yeah.
Our sons, our daughters.
Sure.
Okay, well, you know, they have a job to do and they're good at it. So martial law is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to people looting or trying to destroy more than what's already destroyed. So, you know, you just keep going over this list of crap that's happening right now, and you say, yep, martial law's coming. So what do? You better get prepared in your own home. And I'm not saying, you know, put your shotgun by the door. I'm saying you better have food and water ready.
Right.
Because if we do have something major happen and things get shut down, it means shut down.
Right.
You may not be able to travel to the grocery store because of the chaos in the street, or 1,000 protesters out there with guns this time around. And we're seeing that more and more and more. You know, when you actually have assassinations happening.
Right.
Wake up, folks.
Sure. And it's so different now than when we think of the 1968 in particular, where we lose Martin Luther King,
Yes.
Bobby Kennedy, and I think Malcolm X, I believe.
Yes, that was all
in
that
one year.
Yeah, all in that same span. And you know, when things like this happens, like I said, the pendulum swings wild.
And it swings wilder because we have the social media and internet.
It swings
to
wild.
feed it.
Yeah, the social media. There's people that just love this chaos.
Yeah.
And will ramp it up
Yep.
even more because they're sitting back on a computer. They're not out in the street.
Right. Yeah.
And it's an opportunity. You know, they're just predatory. So if you get caught up in that, you'll be part of the chaos.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You
And it's the fog of war in those scenarios where there's riots on the streets. You really don't know what's going on.
If you have a nice little neighborhood, you've had your barbecues with your neighbors, and you like your neighbors and your friends and blah, 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 and somebody come in and hurt one of them. you might get angry, and you might step out into the street when you're not supposed to be there.
Right.
Well, you may end up being the victim instead of enacting your vengeance on them.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying don't protect yourself or don't protect your home or your property. In fact, that's exactly what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
Is to, get geared up where you don't have to be out there because you're not helping.
Right.
Now, unless you're in the National Guard, police department, the auxiliary police, militia, that's another thing that could be called out. Our local militias. Now, there's a lot of people out there that have the name militia that are really not a constitutional militia. That is not what I'm talking about. Militia is a constitutional militia, just like we have in Bedford, just like Campbell County has.
Right.
These people are already working with the police department. They're already working with local government. They are a part-time military. That's what they are. They're doing the best they can. They're citizens, volunteers, and it's in our Constitution to have one. And who is a militiaman? Every single citizen out there. If you're a citizen, you're part of a militia, know it or not. So knowing that, yes, they may be called out also. But I don't want you to be out there, folks. It is not something you need to be engaged in. You need to be taking care of your family, protecting your home, and helping others. That's what you need to be doing. And if you're not prepared to do that for an extended period of time, you're in trouble. So we've been talking about being prepared for 30 days. That's how the commercials started out.
Right.
30 days supply of Patriot Foods, you know. 60 days, 90 days, a year's worth. Wow. How bad could it get? Look around. Getting worse all the time.
Right.
All we're waiting on is a trigger, kind of like a Boston Tea Party. We haven't had one for a while. It's subject to pop off.
Sure.
We may not even start it. This may come from China, Putin,
Right.
They could disrupt something here in the United States, or critical infrastructure that could throw us into chaos in a heartbeat. So we are vulnerable.
Yeah.
Reduce these vulnerabilities. Get prepared. We talk about it all the time. There's so many articles and websites and books out there on being prepared. My gosh, what are you waiting on?
Right.
Only like 3 to 4% of the people are prepared enough to handle a month, 30 days. That's pitiful. Go home and look at your kids, and you go, I'm only going to feed them for 30 days. Would you ever say that? Absolutely not.
Right.
So get prepared. Back to martial law. There's really no precise definition of martial law. It's very vague in the codes. So there's not a whole lot that you can do about how the military acts when they're trying to protect and stop the chaos. They got a horrible job to do. So in saying that, don't think that well, I'll sue them. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You can't. So the best thing you do is just to stay out of the way and hopefully take care of it quickly. So who can actually declare martial law? Do you know that?
President?
That's one. Congress.
Okay. Can
your
a
governor.
Your governor, okay.
Right. And they can all do it at certain levels.
Okay.
Your local military leader. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yes.
Okay.
Your sheriff could actually do it.
Okay.
Now, he would have to call for help because he can't do it on his own.
Okay, right.
So as soon as the military shows up, he has to relinquish control over to the military.
Okay.
And if the president steps in after that and says, okay, we're going to bring all our military to bear on this problem. Mm-hmm. That's how the chain of command goes back up.
Okay.
But from the start. So if we had some major chaos in Bedford, the sheriff and the local government could conceivably declare martial law.
Okay.
At some level.
Right.
At one of those levels.
Understood.
If it got worse, the levels would step up and we'd bring in the governor and so on and so on. So all of it has to do with staying off the streets and you being prepared. That's my whole purpose of this show is to let you know that there's one more reason to be prepared. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty critical. And it's not like just a hurricane came through and tore up some stuff or a flood.
Right.
This is getting serious, folks. Mm-hmm. So the potential is there. The threat is there. The opportunity is there. Time to act. Same way with just our whole situation. Time to act is now. We've got a vote coming up. Please vote. If you want better people making better decisions, you're going to have to vote them in because we don't have many of them. Mm-hmm. So participate, getting your family to participate in the right direction too. My gosh. And that's about all I got to say about the martial law. Just gear up, get prepared, stay out of the way. Mm-hmm. Don't be involved in the chaos, or you will be part of that chaos. Mm-hmm. So stay out of there. Go. Couple announcements. September 27th.
Okay.
At Fallen Creek Park in Bedford. Mm-hmm. They're holding some classes over there.
Okay.
Building resilience for Bedford County. That's what it's going to be.
Okay.
Starts at, I think, 9 o'clock, goes to 3:30, 4 o'clock. Come out. They got a few vendors out there, but they're going to be holding classes. We're going to be talking about getting prepared. Mm-hmm. What priorities do I really need in one of these scenarios? Mm-hmm. Another class on just water. Water is so critical, it needs its own subject. They're going to do a little canning class telling you how to prepare for the canning season, how to can the vegetables that you grow or buy.
Okay.
Talking about canning meats. We got deer season coming up and how you can can that, or just butchering in general.
Okay.
All the meats from that, how to can them, prepare them, different ways to doing it.
Okay.
Dehydrating, that kind of stuff. So there's a whole nother class. So come out and see us the 27th, Fallen Creek Park in Bedford County. Come see us on that. Got one more announcement.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the woke. Well, Harley Davidson went woke, and everybody knew about it, and it cost them big. Well, it cost them big enough that their competition has moved into our area.
Oh, okay.
Indian motorcycles. Anybody ever hear about
I've heard of them. Sure.
Indian's been around a long time.
Sure.
But they changed gears and have, they manufacture motorcycles again. Really nice motorcycle. Mm-hmm. Well, there's one right up on 460, just down from the sheets, right there on 460. Mm-hmm. They also have a Polaris dealer in there, and I think they do watercraft. So that's Mabry Power Sports, I think that's what it's called. But you'll see the big Indian sign on the building. Go in and check out their motorcycles, and you'd be surprised what competition Harley Davidson now has in our hometown. Guy you need to talk to is Sean.
Okay.
He's a good guy. I've known him for years. Go in and check out. If you're looking for a new bike, go check out the new Indians.
All right.
And that's kind of the show for today.
All right, bud.
I don't even get paid for that one. I might have to talk to him. Come check us out.
All right, Glenn. Thank you so much.
All right.
Join us again next week for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, helping you be prepared and not scared. This podcast drops every Friday anywhere you get your podcast.